Hello, 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 and welcome to the Lynn Woods Gospel Entertainment Podcast, where we talk to inspire. I'm Lynn Woods. I want you to stop what you're doing right now and subscribe to this uplifting and inspiring podcast. It will surely bless your life. My guest today on the Lynn Woods Gospel Entertainment Podcast is VaShawn Mitchell. He's a Dove and Stellar Award winner and Grammy-nominated recording artist and songwriter who has released 8 albums to date, and he's brought us a bunch of hits, but his mega hit that folks are still singing in the churches today is Nobody Greater. So VaShawn, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me on the podcast today.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, we were talking off mic about you're from Chicago, but you are in Atlanta right now. When did you make that transition from Chicago to Atlanta? You said it's been a long time and it's cold in Atlanta right now.
Yeah, I left Chicago in 2007 and relocated to Atlanta. And I've been, since then I've kind of taken different opportunities in different cities, but Atlanta has been home since then.
So this career you have in gospel, it started in the church, right? In Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago, it wasn't a career at first. I was the minister of music of my church, and I was writing songs and singing with the church choir, and we was recording. And one day I realized that those songs that we sang at our local church was being sang around the world. And people started asking me, so when are you going to do your own project? I was like, I don't think I'm going to do that. But eventually, over the years, God kind of pressed in my heart that it was time for me to release music as VaShawn Mitchell and not just with the church choir. And it took a little while before, people realized that I was an artist on my own. And then when I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, I recorded the project Triumphant with Nobody Greater on it. And then it was like, whoa, every door opened. And I tell it this way, I say I'm glad God used me to carry a sound that was bigger than me, because it took me to places I never thought I would go, and to be in front of people I never thought I would see because of the sound God gave me.
Where did you get this sound from? Who influenced you? Chicago is like one of the beginning places of where gospel music became a business with Thomas Dorsey and Sally Martin. But how did what influenced you to do what you do in gospel and decide one day? I know you talked to me about, the song and stuff, the music stuff.
Yeah.
But what made you wake up on one day and decide, I'm going to do this full time and going to do this as a ministry and as a business?
It was being in Chicago and being around Chicago and learning, like you just said, Thomas Dorsey and different stories, how people went from writing songs to owning publishing and things of that sort. So being from Chicago, born and raised, no matter where I went in the world, some of those gospel values and business values started and will always remain in me because of where I'm from. So, I didn't only just want to write the songs and sing the songs and produce them. Eventually I went to own publishing and own masters and put out other artists. And, gratefully, God has done that for me. So, not only did I write and produce my own projects and get, great awards, but I produced Tasha Cobbs' first 2 records. I executive produced Anthony Brown. It's just that business, along with a ministry, was always in me and will always be in me as well.
Is that a hard line to walk, between business and ministry? Because I've been in this a long time, too, and I've watched people kind of struggle sometimes with that.
You know what? It's not hard once you realize the part that's for God and the part that's for business, and don't let those lines cross. What we do and who we are is from God. The vehicle and how it comes out is the business of it. But regardless of that, we have to always understand that we ride this vehicle, we drive this vehicle with God-like principles. As long as we do that, God will continue to bless it, and He will continue to put His stamp of approval on it, because there is a message that has to get out far beyond our local reach.
So if you were not doing gospel, VaShawn Mitchell, what do you think you would be doing?
I don't know. I think I probably would be somewhere working with kids still. My only other job I've ever had was to work with Chicago area project in the youth division, independent living skills. So I was teaching right to passage classes and helping kids get in college and school who were in group homes and things of that sort. And that was the only thing I ever done, and it definitely still was fulfilling. So I would have still been there if I would have called to full-time music ministry.
Oh, that is interesting. So what, with the training that you have received in music, did you ever receive any formal training to do what you do, or did it all come from the church?
I say it comes from church, workshops, and mentors. Not necessarily formal training. My schooling back in the day was more in public relations and PR, and then my later schooling, and I'm still in school now, is in music business and music therapy. So it's more up on the business side of it than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But being in church and the day was a year of workshops, and you could sit up under anybody. Was my thing. So I would go to GMWA. I would go to Gospel Heritage. I would go to Thomas Dorsey Conference and just walk into a room that I paid my registration for, and it's Richard Smallwood teaching the class, or Yolanda Adams. So I've been under some great teaching, but not necessarily schooling for music. My music schooling is more in the business area or music therapy.
Well, what school are you attending for that?
I'm attending Full Sail University right now.
Okay.
And more than likely, we'll be transitioning into I don't know yet, but to another school for music therapy in my master's.
Oh, okay. I was asking about the schooling thing because I actually have a master's in new media journalism from Full Sail University.
Ah, so cool. Yeah.
And there are
the music business degree is great, and it kind of teaches you a little bit of everything, especially being an entrepreneur like I am and owning my own business. And now that the industry is changing because, more from an artist to a label, and now I partner with labels, so certain things that I have to do. There's relations to put music out that I never did before as an artist. Full Sail has been very, very influential in helping me navigate this new journey of from artistry to ownership.
Yes, because it's a serious school for what you do.
Yeah, I'm very serious. Very serious. And the schedule you're on is even more serious, trying to juggle church, juggle traveling, and juggle getting your assignments in on time. It's a bit much.
Yeah, you have that.
Managing to keep an A+, so I'm good.
Yeah, then you have that. What is it like 11:59 p.m. or some kind of cutoff? To get
and we on different time zones, so sometimes I'll be in LA and at 7 or 8. I'll be like, oh, no, let me hurry up.
I know exactly what you mean. So let's talk about, get back to your music right now. We're going to talk about this Christmas EP.
Yeah.
So what made you decide, okay, I want to do a Christmas EP and in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, the decision was made about a year ago.
So you didn't know the pandemic was coming.
And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, I don't think I should do it. And I was praying about it, and God said, do what I said do, and I'll do the rest. So I had like 6 or 7 months to complete the EP, and I just started to write and record the songs and sounds that God gave me, just completing my assignment. I had never done a Christmas EP before or even Christmas CD before, and now that I'm owner of my own label, my own product, my own creativity, I'm able to do some of the things that I've been wanting to do for years. So I just completed the assignment, and I'm grateful that even right now that some of the music has been, leaked out and people are liking it, they're sharing it, and the YouTube, they're viewing it. So I believe that it was the right thing to do, and I do know that when you follow the assignment of God, he almost is guaranteed to blow on it, and that's what he's doing.
Oh, I think this is like, you've been in this business like 20 years. You've seen a lot of stuff, done a lot, and know the good parts and the bad parts of it, and you're just now getting to a Christmas project. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Some of it is business as well, because some labels, if I would have did a specialty project is what they call them, it's not necessarily counted as one of your options. So when you're in like 5 option deals, like back in the day, that 5 options can turn into almost 15 years because you're doing a project every 2 to 3 years. So, you'd rather do a regular project, other than a specialty project because they can accept it or not. So it would have went against me if I would have been on a label now. But now that I'm on my own label and I'm just partnering, I'm able to kind of break some of those rules that used to be.
What's the name of your label?
VMan Entertainment.
Yeah, I did see that come up on my phone.
Yeah.
VMan. All right then, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so tell me what's on this EP.
All right, the EP is how I feel about Christmas, right? It is some high energy music, from praise and worship to choir music to just great listening music, some great features, but also it is like a song about, being home for Christmas that I did with Chante Moore. So it is like everyone who listens to something about Christmas, from high energy choir music to praise ballad, all the way to just a good feeling soul song. It is on this EP from song 1 to song number 6. And I call it my musical journey of the Christmas story because it really tells the story through music and through lyrics in a different way.
Hey man, what song do you like the best?
I'm torn. One of my favorite songs is Everlasting Joy. I wrote the song. I was actually in the middle of a concert in Bethlehem last year. I spent Christmas in Bethlehem. I'm singing Joy, and I come off the stage, and the young lady said, "Oh, he gives us joy forevermore." I said, "Okay." So I get to my room, and I start to think about how, God came to give us life and that more abundantly, but he never took it back. So it became everlasting. So it's not like being happy, because joy can't be taken from you. Joy comes on the inside. And I started writing about everlasting joy. And we sing about joy to the world all the time. Mm-hmm. We don't realize that this joy is with us forever. So that's one of my favorite songs. And then I kind of stepped into my 80s, I'll Be Sure, R&B, or whatever you want to call it, voice a little bit to do a song with Chante Moore entitled Home for Christmas. And Home With You, I'm sorry. It's like teetering on 1 and 2 of my top favorite right now.
How was it working with Shantae?
It was amazing. Her energy, her vocals, her just presence, kind of brightens the room and brightens the day. And it's not our first time. We've done like Celebration of Gospel a couple times together, and we partnered in, I think we did Chasing After You one time, and she sang Nobody Greater on one of her evening showcases on Sunday night. So we've been in like friendship for some years now. So when this project came up and I heard this song, I said, oh my God, her voice would fit perfectly. I called her, and literally we said yes on the phone without talking to managers, without talking to anybody else. So nobody else could say no because we said yes.
Already done.
The process was so great. And I have to, some artists that when it's great to work with them, they just make the process easier.
Oh, yes. Kindred spirits. It always works better. All right. And so, VaShawn Mitchell, VMan, where can we find this EP for purchase, for streaming?
The EP is everywhere. Anywhere people get their music, the EP is there. From Deezer to Tidal, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music. It is available everywhere. And even if you still have a CD player, it's available at Amazon on demand, where they'll print you up one and send it to you, because this is something, it's not just music for Christmas. I call it music for life. So check it out, VaShawn Mitchell, Home for Christmas with VaShawn Mitchell and Friends, and I promise you it will bless your life.
So, how can they find you, VMan?
VMan is all around, VaShawnMitchell.com, VaShawn Mitchell Facebook, VaShawn Mitchell Twitter, VaShawn Mitchell Instagram, VaShawn Mitchell sometimes on Snapchat, but it's all VaShawn Mitchell, no spaces. Check me out.
So VaShawn Mitchell, a.k.a. VMan, who also owns his own label. Thank you so much for being my guest today on the Linwood's Gospel Entertainment Podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us today. We always appreciate your support. And make sure that you subscribe right now. Just punch that subscribe button so that you never, ever miss an episode of this uplifting and inspiring podcast. Now, to reach me, Lynn Woods, you can find me on Twitter. That's at Lynn Woods, LINWOODS, or on Instagram at LynnWoods96, or Facebook, Lynn Woods. This has been the Lynn Woods Gospel Entertainment Podcast, where we talk to inspire. God bless.